James Morales. Welcome to my channel. James Morales said, "Hey Evan." play. Evan Turing said, "Sure, one SEC, I wanna see if I can change my video settings." James Morales said, "Okay." Young BZ. Welcome to my channel. Young BZ said, "Is this Nehemiah?" "For people who know me from school, please don't use my real name." Young BZ said, "Sorry."
You have all the ingredients for this in your fridge. But ask yourself this. Of all the times you've made it at home, has it ever tasted like our McMuffin? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Sorry.
Attention folks, we've got hogs in the road. We're going to be delayed.
Having to commute is history. Search work from home jobs at monster.com.
You have all the ingredients for this in your fridge. But ask yourself this. Of all the times you've made it at home, has it ever tasted like our McMuffin? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Você quer sexo agressivo, vou deixar sua bunda ardendo. Vou dar tapa, 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 tapa. Caralho. Caralho.
Toma. Quatro paredes, eu vou acabar contigo. Oi. Quatro paredes, eu vou acabar contigo. Oi. Em quatro paredes, eu vou acabar contigo. Oi.
сержантом возглавить операцию.
Что за сержант?
Долг Магдалиш.
Ну что, возьмем гаденыша, а? Давай, соглашайся.
Evan Turing said, actually my quality is pedo, so I'm going to change that.
Да, сэр.
Никак нет.
Вы так уродливы?
Скорее наоборот.
Сомневаюсь. Час бы не отказался.
А я вот виски хочу.
Шотландского?
Я пью бурбон.
Деревенщина.
Именно. Обожаю Кентукки.
Evan Turing said, I actually dislike it and I'm going to change back to regular settings. Evan Turing said, Oh, I can see it now, the email I'm gonna get from YouTube saying, ERM actually we're restricting your live stream cause you used copyrighted funk. Evan Turing said, "Never mind, I don't care, I'm not even partnered."
Na firma do Pod 10, na firma do Pod 10, na firma do Pod 10, rola muita putaria. Novinha, então capa, 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 novinha, então capa, treta. Firma do Pod 10, firma do Pod 10, firma do Pod 10, firma do Pod 10, firma da firma
Evan Turing said, "Uh-oh, I think it broken."
This video's made possible by KiwiCo. More on them later. Can humans see Wi-Fi? No, definitely not. Otherwise your evening browsing habits would have blinded half the neighborhood by now. Wi-Fi is the name that we gave the tech priest magic that allows us to download cat videos literally through the air. But what is it really? What's coming out of the magic pixie box that we plug into the special wire in our house? The short answer is light, or more
Evan
accurately,
Turing
a type of electromagnetic
said,
radiation called microwaves. And yes, I do mean the same kind of microwaves that you use to reheat a day-old burrito. This is why in the old days, running a microwave could mess with the
Evan
internet
Turing
connection. If the oven
said,
was leaky, it would
"I'm
broadcast
going to
random
watch
noise
YouTube
at the
'cause I
same
can't
wavelength
close
the
Fall
Wi-Fi
Guys."
router was trying to use. Microwaves, like all electromagnetic radiation, have a frequency that they oscillate at. For example, an FM radio station's emissions are around the 80 to 100 MHz range. A Wi-Fi router, or your kitchen microwave, oscillate at about 2.4 GHz, and visible light is all the way up at 450 to 750 terahertz. While our sad caveman eyeballs are limited to a very minimal patch of the electromagnetic spectrum, light is light, so in theory you could build a camera that could see almost any part of the spectrum for you. And we actually already do this for microwave signals. Our universe is filled with giant things in space that scream out in microwave frequencies. Pulsars, nebula, gas jets, quasars, and more. If you build a really big antenna and then pick a frequency you're interested in and wave it around, measuring how much radio power you measure in each location, you can build up images of the cosmos. We've even used this to take a picture of a black hole now. This is called radio astronomy. If we had a tiny radio telescope and tune it to Wi-Fi's frequency, theoretically we could do the same thing, but take a picture of all the Wi-Fi emitters in an area. To that end, allow me to introduce XJ9. While it may look like the sort of thing that would give a Raytheon executive a stiffy, it's actually our latest iteration of a radio telescope. Though it does still feel a little intimidating when you're being scanned. XJ9 is what happens when an actual engineer with a budget designs the radio telescope instead of a broke scientist. It's got proper geared stepper motors, belt drive, nice 3D printed parts, and a proper flat bearing. And of course, the head is swappable, allowing us to sub out the antenna for different experiments. Compare XJ9 to Cogsworth, the first iteration of a Wi-Fi camera I built many years ago. Held together with spit, duct tape, and prayers to the deep old ones, he was designed and built entirely by hand, out of whatever random crap I happen to find lying around. But through all that jank, he held together just long enough to take a couple of pictures of the Wi-Fi router in the workshop, and find a bunch of my neighbor's routers by scanning the building. While his efforts were valiant, Cogsworth was eventually taken behind the woodshed, and his head now lives on my wall as a science trophy. In his stead, XJ9 is ready to step in and do all the things I dreamed Cogsworth might. When I made Cogsworth, I had originally intended to open source the design, but honestly, it was so bad that I just couldn't stand to afflict the world with more of him. But XJ9, on the other hand, will have all of her build plans on GitHub. XJ9 is largely 3D printed, but we did have to laser cut a few pieces for the base. This means that if you want an XJ9 for yourself, you're gonna need a few specialty tools. But you won't need any tools to assemble this next part. This is one of the amazing learning crates from the sponsor of this. Crates are site some point gift plan something as they choose one of the 5 KiwiCo is fundamentally an alt-azimuth robot, meaning it can either tilt its face up and down or rotate around its base to point in different directions. Since her face is removable, we can swap out the antenna depending on what frequency we want to look at. Though, that's not to say she has to have an antenna for a face. A knife also happens to fit nicely, so she can help out in the kitchen and terrify my dinner guests. Or I can strap a laser pointer on here and use it to distract the neighbor's dog, while I rearrange their furniture to make them think their house is haunted. Anyway, an antenna is, for the most part, an inert piece of funny-shaped metal. So to turn the radio waves that hit the antenna into usable data, we're going to be using a software-defined radio, or SDR. These are digital radios that connect to a computer and can be tuned to whatever frequency we want. We tried 2 different models, a HackRF and a Lime SDR, and found that the HackRF was more reliable for this. To take a picture, what we're going to do is move the antenna around and at each location record the intensity of radio waves we receive, just like radio astronomy. By plotting each intensity as a pixel for each location, we can build up an image as we scan the area. We can either do a big wide scan to take a full image, or we can just do a simple arc if all we're interested in is the direction the signal is coming from. So we set about trying to take a picture of our router, which seemed like it would be a simple task. After all, Cogsworth was made literally out of garbage and managed this on its first go. We'd also learned from last time and had simplified the code so that as soon as the scan was done, out popped an image. And the results were crap. If anything, it looked like there was a dead spot where the router was, and good signal everywhere else. So we tweaked the code and ran it again, taking more samples this time at each step so that way we had a better average of how much power was being received. And again, junk. We tweaked and scanned and tweaked and scanned literally for days, and every time, junk. If we tried just measuring the signal-to-noise ratio, we got signal in a weird spot. If we directly measured the power, we got signal in a different incorrect location. We spent days waving the antenna around and tweaking things. It was honestly infuriating. I was starting to feel like that scene in Iron Man.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a bunch of scraps!
In the process of figuring this out, we started to suspect that the walls were the problem. And I know that sounds insane, but bear with me. Most walls in a normal Canadian residential building are framed in wood, then covered in drywall, or sometimes they're made of brick. This means that they are basically transparent to Wi-Fi, which is why you get relatively good signal throughout the house. But not all buildings are made the same, and not all materials are transparent to Wi-Fi. I mean, think about it. Wi-Fi and your microwave are the same frequency. Why does one stay inside the box and one spreads out over the whole area? The short answer is metal, or anything conductive, but metal being extremely dense on top of being conductive certainly doesn't hurt. A microwave oven is, well, an oven. It's a